will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start on reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad that you are here with us. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Happy Wednesday, wherever you're joining us from, and whoever is joining in with you, please give them a high five too. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. And we do have a wonderful book today. One of our chapter books, your favorite chapter books, is back. But this time we're back with book 2, and this one is called Audrey L and Audrey W series, book 2, and this one is True Creative Talents. This one coming right up, and you're in for a treat. This one also coming from Carter Higgins and Jennifer K. Mann. And if you remember, we had book 1 here on Storytime, and that one is called Best Friends-ish. And you remember at this time, Audrey W was just coming into the classroom, right? Into room 19. And so now there's a whole lot more drama happening, a lot more happening. So get ready for book 2. You're in for a treat today. Thank you so much for joining in. And I'm excited to share this one coming to us from our good friend here at Storytime, Carter Higgins and Jennifer K. Mann. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, we're reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And excitement all around as the spring 2023 catalog from Chronicle Books is released. And so, get ready for those. Some books you can already pre-order, some books are out. So excited for that too. And we'll be bringing them to Storytime for sure. Thank you so much for joining in today. And I am glad that we are here together. Where are you joining us from? How is the weather where you are today? If you're out here in California and especially the Bay Area, I know that it is rainy today. It was raining right before we came on, and it's going to be a rainy morning, let up for a little bit, and then I think the rain continues after that. I didn't look beyond the morning, but so just be ready if you're here. Please, if you're on the roads, please do drive carefully, do drive slowly, and look out for pedestrians. Keep an extra eye out, and those slippery conditions out there are not the best for driving, so please be extra careful. Thank you so much for joining in, and of course, too, don't forget your umbrella. And worst I do is I will carry my umbrella somewhere and then forget it there. So don't forget your umbrella at home, and don't forget it wherever you go, because you will need it in the next couple of weeks coming up, the next couple of days coming up. Thank you so much for joining in, and glad that we're here together. I'm excited for today's book. It's always good to have Audrey L and Audrey W back here on Storytime. Good morning to you. How are you doing, Owen, who is now a 2-year-old? Oh my goodness, when was your birthday? Happy birthday. And how does it feel being 2? You've grown. Yes, thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And you know what? Sending you extra hugs today, and thank you for being a part of this wonderful community. Thank you so much for being here, Owen. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you indeed. And sending you love, all of you out there, Christian, Costa, Owen, and yes, indeed, thank you for being here on Storytime. Appreciations to you. And Miles, where are you today? Thank you for being here on Storytime, whether you're joining us live or indeed you join us later on for the recording. Sending love to you. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. How are you doing today, Ari? Thank you. First through the door. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, good morning to you, Megan, as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely appreciate you. And if I remember correctly, it is Kentucky, right? Thank you so much for joining in. And I hope that you are well. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. Good morning to you, Amanda, West, Sarah, and Nathan in Sleedy, Illinois today. Well, please be careful. Just exactly what we were talking about today for sure with um conditions, road conditions being tricky and all that. So please be careful out there. And it seems like Illinois too needs you to be careful on the roads today, as we should be always, but extra careful today for sure. Thank you so much for joining in. And you say happy International Women's Day to all women. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for highlighting that. An important day indeed. And also too, one of the things I think I've forgotten to mention is that March is in women's history month, so definitely we'll be doing something here on Storytime in regards to that. At least for a week we should bring in some amazing books created by women, talk, with whose subject are women, and we try to do that all the time on Storytime too. So I hope that we continue to highlight that. If you look today, we do have a book that is created by women, and it is Carter Higgins and Jennifer K. Mann. So proud of that. Happy International Women's Day for sure. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Thank you for highlighting that, Amanda, Sarah, and Nathan. Good morning to you, Soraya. How are you doing today? And of course, Sharon Lungo. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you are well. Thank you. Good to see you here. Please be careful out there in the rain today out here in Oakland. It is cold out in Kentucky. So please get your jackets if you're going to go out there. Be ready for those for that cold. Yes, keep it away. And we hope that our story today, the laughs and of course all the drama that is going on with Audrey L and Audrey W, definitely warms you up some more. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you one more time. Kristen Costa, his birthday was over the weekend. Well, happy birthday to you, Owen. Happy birthday. And I hope it was a good one. And I hope your birthday month is the best. I hope that you have a wonderful birthday week as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Yes, thank you for being here. Good morning to you, Tara, McNamara, and of course, Clara and Erin out in Massachusetts. The weather is cloudy and cold so far. Well, I hope that here together we can be warmer. And two, I hope that you're feeling better today, Clara and Erin. I know you had the sniffles yesterday, and I hope that they're going away quickly. I hope they're going away, and I hope that you're feeling much better than you did yesterday. Sending you extra hugs as well. And I hope, like me, you have a cup of tea or something next to you to make it even better. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. And of course, too, we must mention too that Marietta Apollonia's brand new book, Jack the Library Cat, is coming out on May 11th. So join us then, as Marietta will be here with Jack the Library Cat as they read to us and of course show us some art dummies and so much more fun stuff. So please do join us then, and of course look out for that book. Ask for it at your local library. Maybe put a reservation for it, reserve it at the library so that you can get it as soon as it comes out. Thank you so much for joining in, and we'll be getting started with our story for today. And of course, birthday wishes coming in for Owen. Clara and Erin have their birthdays this month too. Oh my goodness. Who else do I know that has their birthday this month? March. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anybody else right now. Well, enjoy. Thank you for sharing that. Happy birthday one more time, Owen. Happy birthday, Clara, in advance, and Erin, as your birthdays are coming up. Thank you so much for joining in. Get ready for Audrey L and Audrey W as they bring us more drama from room 19. Get ready for that. And of course, good morning to you. Marley's birthday is in March 16th. Oh my goodness. It is packed with birthdays this month. Thank you so much for joining in. Lots of celebrating for us to do. Please, as those days get closer, to remind us. I'll try and remember, but also please remind us so we can, even if it's just to sing happy birthday on that day or to just say happy birthday, we hope that we can celebrate with you. Thank you so much for joining in. So many birthdays coming up. I love it. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. Join me on the other side of this short message when we're back for more Storytime.
Hi, my name is Chad, and I'm homeschooled in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And today you're tuning in with Mr. Lamata. Story time with Mr. Lamata.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Chad, out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you for joining in, and of course, sending extra love to you, Chad, and of course, Auntie Pam as well. Thank you so much, Braylon and Auntie Pam as well. Thank you so much. I absolutely love that. I could watch that over and over. Thank you, Chad. All right, here we go. We do have a wonderful book today. Not as many pictures. Our short chapter book here, Audrey L and Audrey W, True Creative Talents. And this one is book 2 in the series. Like we mentioned, we did bring you Best Friends-ish, which was book 1. This one is written by Carter Higgins and illustrations by Jennifer K. Mann. And we're reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you indeed for this one. Here we go. I'll try to hold up the book as much as I can when there are pictures to show. But here we go. Audrey L and Audrey W. True Creative Talents, Book 2. Written by Carter Higgins, illustrations by Jennifer K. Mann, and read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Are you ready for some elementary school drama? Well, here we go. And I wanted to read to the dedication from Jennifer K. Mann. She says, for my family, immediate and extended, all true creative talents. And I hope that today, for all of you out there too, I hope that you tap into your creative sides and do something fun today. All right. Miss Fincastle's Little Chickens. Dear Room 19, phew, November is flying by, isn't it? This is such a special time to be a second grader. Your favorite art project, Parade Balloons, is underway. And they are extremely beautiful, I hear. And a delicious science experiment is coming right up. Here's a riddle for you. Are you ready for the riddle? Oh, here we go. I've got lots of keys, but can't open a door. What am I? I've got lots of keys, but can't open a door. What am I? You get one hint. Mr. Francis would especially like this one. Don't forget to do your job. I know things have been a little rocky around here, but it takes a team to be a family. We will switch again soon. And all the different jobs, right? If you're in a place or a school or that does jobs, what's your favorite job? You can see there's line leader, there's librarian, there's paper passers, outers, and collectors. We have most responsible scientists, plant waterers, assistant coaches, Mini Miss Fincastle, who's the teacher's assistant, computer technician, street sweeper, newscaster, the caboose, and we have recycling boss, litterbug, postal clerk, and on vacation. Oh my. I want that on vacation role. Love, Miss Fincastle. P.S. Have you seen my glasses? If you remember from book 1, that is the long-running joke, isn't it? All right, here we go. Chapter 1. Diego was flicking boogers again. Oh, Diego. Not actual straight from your nose boogers, but the crusty, crumbly bits of dried up glue that he had peeled from his palms. Right on the noggin. Diego tried to high five Henley, but even Henley knew that his hands were gross with glue and didn't budge. Diego, would you mind not disturbing us? We are true creative talents, hard at work. Audrey L glooped glue onto the big round poof of newspaper in front of them. Yeah, said Audrey W. Eyes on your own pizza, please. And there they are. Mrs. Bruce did not appreciate booger flicking in her art studio, whether it was the glue kind or the nose kind. Unfortunately, Diego knew exactly when Mrs. Bruce wasn't looking. But nope, nope, nope. Audrey L would definitely not tell on him. If she did, she was definitely sure that Mrs. Bruce would make them switcheroo their stews. And being next to Audrey W was worth a little booger flicking. And it was a little funny when the boogers landed on Henley instead. Even though Diego was obnoxious some of the time, he was pretty great some of the time too. I know some friends like that. Even though Diego was obnoxious some of the time, he was pretty great some of the time too. So there they were, the beluga whale table, still in their pod even when they swam from room 19 to art. Henley, Diego, Audrey L, and Audrey W. Miss Fincastle had thought having the table groups stick together in their other classrooms would help the teamwork troubles that were happening all around room 19. Oh my. But Audrey L thought the beluga whales were doing just fine. It was everyone else who was having trouble. Even the Acorn Club hadn't written a good joke in one whole week. That was Henley and Diego and their other friend, Kadir. They were usually all on the exact same page. A funny one. But since it was only a few weeks until Thanksgiving vacation, maybe everybody just needed a break from everybody else. Mrs. Bruce's art studio smelled like gluey paste and purple crayons and the toasty sandwich she must have left in the microwave for too long again. But most of all, it smelled like art. It was a perfect place for a true creative talent like Audrey L. So, of course, she would have the very best balloon sculpture. But luckily, it wasn't all her responsibility. Her balloon partner was Audrey W. Audrey W was the very best partner for balloon making and recess games and instrument tween and pizza night and baking cakes and basically everything. Audrey W was just plain the very best. Second grade had one of the coolest traditions in the whole school. Maybe even better than the play with the costumes. They got to make a gigantic mess with gluey paste and newspaper strips and masking tape and paintbrushes and pipe cleaners and bottle caps and any little treasures they could find. Audrey L was really great at finding little treasures. Each pair had to make a papier-mâché parade balloon, just like the ones on TV, except these balloons were stuck down on shoebox lids, so they definitely didn't float away like the ones in the real parade might. The second graders' balloons only went as far as the library. But even the fifth graders came to see them on display, and not one single fifth grader ever laughed at them. It would be impossible to laugh at true creative talent. Wesley and Lena were making a ukulele. What would you make if you had an opportunity to make a papier-mâché balloon sculpture? Goldie and Sage were making a mermaid with bright pink hair. Oh, I like that. Mimi and Bettina were making the Funtown roller coaster with an actual car on the track, and it had an upside down loopy-de-doo. Even Audrey L had to admit that Mimi was pretty close to becoming a true creative talent. Well, finally. And of course, Diego and Henley were making a pizza. It had every kind of vegetable and extra cheese and pineapple slices. Even though their pizza also had glue boogers on it, Audrey L was pretty sure that Room 19's balloons would be the best of all time in the history of second grade. And Audrey L and Audrey W would have the very best of the very best. Audrey L and Audrey W had brainstormed a list before Mrs. Bruce handed over the newspaper sculpture, and crunch and tape up just right. Those were the rules. Make a plan before you make a mess. Their first idea, of course, was an alicorn, a unicorn with wings. But Isabella and Sonia were already making a unicorn. And Mrs. Bruce always said, artists take their time. Artists dig deep. Artists have lots of ideas. And so they made a list of lots and lots of ideas. And here are some of them. Well, they thought a hermit crab. They thought roller skates with flames flying out. Kind of like that one, actually. With flames flying out of the wheels. A fruit bowl filled with cherries, a pot of gold under the sparkliest rainbow, a little chicken. They were the little chickens after all. That's when they figured it out. Not a little chicken, but what about someone who likes to talk about little chickens? What about Miss Fincastle? She would be a spectacular balloon. There's an idea. Oh, I see you. Oh, somebody would like, Ari would like a light bulb. I like that. What else? What would you want to make if you had that opportunity? And I hope you get to do it too. Oh, chapter 2. Here we go. After art, they walked themselves back to room 19. Miss Fincastle had said this might be the last week of that freedom if the teamwork troubles didn't straighten up. So far, so good. Have you ever been to Funtown? Mimi smooshed herself in between Audrey L and Audrey W. Of course, said Audrey L. I didn't mean you. I meant this Audrey, the other Audrey. Audrey W. Mimi linked her arm into Audrey W's. This would be the longest walk back to room 19. Funtown, Audrey W said. Sounds fun. It won't open again until winter's over. You will have to come with me and Bettina sometime. Bettina, you have to come with me and Bettina sometime. Oh, my pages are stuck together. There we go. Bettina's scared of bathing even though last summer we were finally tall enough to ride the Thunder Chaser. And there they are walking. Are there any machines, any fun rides that you look forward to being tall enough to ride at the theme park? Yes, Bettina is scared of bathing, even though last summer we were finally tall enough to ride the Thunder Chaser. I had to ride it with my dad. Bettina doesn't even like to think about the Thunder Chaser. Mimi laughed and laughed. I bet Bettina didn't vote on the Thunder Chaser for your balloon then, Audrey L said. Why didn't you pick something you both like? Mimi didn't answer, but she did roll her eyes and laugh again. It was kind of strange to hear Mimi talk about Bettina like this. They were usually two peas in a pod, a peanut butter and a jelly. Bettina was a little bossy too, and Audrey L figured Mimi and Bettina knotted up their bossiness in matching friendship bracelets. But Audrey L agreed with Bettina. Thinking about the Thunder Chaser made her feet itchy. Thanks, Mimi. That sounds fun. Audrey W unlinked her arm from Mimi's and scooted closer to Audrey L. Mimi was still too laughy to notice. Don't worry, Audrey W said quietly. It would be more like Boring Town with Mimi, right? And then the two Audreys linked pinkies. There was no trouble in their teamwork. um, but then Miss Fincastle stood outside the door of room 19. Not a peep about little chickens, not a pep in her step, no joke about where her glasses were, even though everyone knew they were always on her head, not even a warm smile. Oh my goodness. Oh, welcome, Nakai and Maita. I love it. I love it. Thank you for joining in out in Baltimore, out in Maryland. Thank you for joining us. And I'm glad that you love this story, Ari. I love it. I love it too. No joke about her glasses where her glasses were, even though everyone knew they were always on her head. Not even a warm smile. Everyone lined up along the outside wall of the classroom in ABC order by their last names. Miss Fincastle never did ABC order, but since this was obviously serious business, somebody started it and everyone else followed, probably Mimi. So Audrey L and Audrey W dropped hands and slid into their spots. Audrey L in between Henley and Sonia. And Audrey W all the way at the end, just before Bettina. Audrey W whispered something to Bettina before they snapped to attention. Okay, little chickens, Mrs. Fincastle said. We're out here because we have some serious business to take care of. Audrey L was right. Nobody said a word. Surely it was the teamwork troubles. It must be. Mrs. Fincastle must have had enough. I know you're deep in your parade balloons with Mrs. Bruce. Mrs. Fincastle folded and unfolded her arms in front of her. Did she know Audrey L and Audrey W were making a sculpture of her face? Is that what she was mad about? They were trying their hardest to make Miss Fincastle as beautiful as she was in real life. Oh, and I know that parade balloons in the library are almost as exciting as that big parade all the way out in New York City. But I have two very important announcements, Miss Fincastle said. Number one, I can't wait to see what you're making. You are a creative bunch of little chickens. Somebody giggled from the front of the line. And two, Miss Fincastle continued very, very smartly, not saying number two. Mrs. Bruce suggested a handshake. She said that some of you may not have washed the gloopy stuff off your hands all the way. Mrs. Fincastle definitely looked at Diego when she said the some of you part. So, Mrs. Fincastle, not surprisingly, Diego was the only one brave enough to break the silence. Are we in trouble, or did we just have to be extra serious because washing hands all the way is common sense? Miss Fincastle cracked a grin. Yes, she said. She didn't say which question that answered. Sometimes teachers are tricky like that. Are your teachers tricky? But then, on the way into room 19, Wesley stepped on George's heel on purpose, and in a span of 4 giant steps over the pea green tiles, George tripped into Sage, who tripped into Goldie, who tripped into Lena, who tripped into Jamie. Oh, Jamie, who cried. Oh, what a disastrous game of dominoes, Miss Fincastle wrapped her arm around Jamie. Wash your hands again and then head to the rug, little chickens. We've got some other problems to solve. Ah. And we're going to end here. So if you do manage to get this book from the library, please continue. Chapter 3, lots is happening. I hope you enjoyed chapter 1 and chapter 2. I loved it. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Please catch me on the other side of this very short message when we are back for more Story Time. Thank you for being here with us.
Hi, my name is Zetta Elliott, and I am the author of 40 books for kids, including Dragons in a Bag and A Place Inside of Me. You're watching Storytime with Mr. Lamata.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope that you enjoyed our book for today, Audrey L and Audrey W, Book 2, True Creative Talents. As you can see, lots is happening in room 19. I hope that you get this book from your local library, and we'll try and bring it back, of course, and read the other chapters, but that might be a little too slow for you. So hopefully you can catch it at your local library and get to enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Good to see all of you here. I absolutely appreciate it. I love that you think it was a cool story. It is indeed cool. Please find it at your local library. Ask for it. If you've not read Audrey L. Book 1, well, I encourage you to find Best Friends-ish first and then get into book 2, because there's lots of things that happen in book 1 that kind of still come up in book 2 as well. Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely appreciate it. Nakai, thank you so much for joining in. And of course, Bundukai, thank you so much for joining us all the way out in Maryland. And of course, Maite, thank you for being here with us on Storytime. And we know, please give love as well to Big Sister today when she's back. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it. And of course, to Mommy as well. Thank you so much for being here with us. I hope that you have a wonderful time out there in Maryland. And of course, Bundu, I'll be in touch. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us. And good morning to you, Marley. And of course, good morning to you, Sarah Jenkins. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope that you have a wonderful time. And of course, Marley, we look forward to March 16th to celebrate that birthday. Happy belated birthday, Owen. That coming in from Tara McNamara, Erin, and Clara. And they're also letting us know that their birthdays are coming up this month too. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And I must be clear there too, Clara and Erin's birthdays are coming up this month too. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Yes, out there in Massachusetts, thank you. Where today the weather is cloudy and cold so far. Well, I hope you get a little bit of warmth, or indeed, I hope that you have those cozy spots, and I hope that you're continuing to feel better, and I hope you get some books to read as well. And talking about books to read, well, we're back here tomorrow with another exciting book, and this one is called If You Were a City. This one is coming to us from Kayo McClare and Francesca Sana, both who we featured books here on Storytime before. As you remember, Kayo McClare's Hello Rain is a favorite here on Storytime. So she's back this time with If You Were a City. And Francesca Sana did illustrate My Friend Earth, that one written by Henna Khan, which we've also had here on Storytime. So look all those books up. Beautiful books indeed if you do not know them already. If you were a city, who would you be? How would you be? Would you be bustling? Would you be a quiet city? Would you be a rural city? Would you be a big city? Big city, noisy and loud? What would you be if you were a city? Join in tomorrow and enjoy this one that celebrates so much diversity. That is indeed a wonderful book. I hope that you join us for that tomorrow. If you miss us live, remember to catch Storytime at storytimewithmisslamada.com, and of course on Facebook and YouTube at your convenience. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. And of course, Kristen Costa, thank you so much for joining in again one more time. Thank you for being here with us. Miles and Owen, we send you love, love, love. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Megan and Ari, I hope that it gets a little warmer out there in Kentucky. Thank you so much for being here with us. And of course, good morning to you, Sharon Lungo and Soraya. Absolutely love it that we were here together. Please be careful out there in the rain out here in Oakland. It is raining heavily today. Thank you so much for joining in. Sarah and Nathan out there in Illinois, please do not slip. Be careful as you're moving out there. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope that indeed you are well. I hope that it's not too cold, but I mean, compared to Oakland, I'm sure it is extremely cold. Happy International Women's Day to all women, you say. Well, thank you so much. We hear you loud and clear. Everybody hears you loud and clear. Thank you for highlighting that message. Thank you indeed for making this community a wonderful space for all. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. This has been Storytime for today. You are very welcome, everybody. Thank you indeed. And you say, have a great day. I think that's the best way to sign off today. Thank you so much for being here, friends. Absolutely appreciate you. We'll see you again tomorrow when we are back for If You Were a City. This one coming to us from Kyle McClare and illustrator Francesca Sana. And of course, we'll be reading this one too with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you for being here with us. Absolutely appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Much love from me. Bye-bye. Thank you indeed.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start on reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. Ooh, story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing.